Hello, YouTubers. It's Barbie J here. Welcome to my channel, June BLC. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Barbie J here with the recap and review of The Equalizer, Season 5, Episode 6, The Fight for Life. And this episode was, I tell you, all these episodes are really good. They're really, really good. And it starts off with Robin in a prison as an inmate, and she ends up fighting with several female inmates in a cafeteria. And I'm sitting there going, how did Robin get in prison, y'all? How did that happen? So before we get into this recap, if you're new here or if you're returning here and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you smash that like button, which is a thumbs up button, write a comment and join the conversation, and then share, because sharing is caring, y'all. Help a sister's channel grow. Come on now, share this video and subscribe. Anyhow, it is morning time in the McCall household, and Dee and her dad are in the kitchen, and he is obsessing over college applications. Robin comes in, and Dee wants to make sure that her mom will be around later when Cam comes. That's Dee's boyfriend, over to meet Miles, her dad. Dee tells him that he can be a bit intense, and she doesn't want her dad to scare her friend off. I guess that's what it is. She didn't say that, but that's what's in her head. I know. And Robin says she will do her best to be back on time, and then she volunteered on Vi, but on Vi said that she has the police and community alliance meeting, and Robin starts teasing her about the cute Captain Curtis, and Vi says she will be performing her civic duty and nothing more. And they were cracking me up. And Robin asked Miles to go easy on Cam, and she admitted that she misjudged him at first, and then added the truth is college is not for everyone. And of course, Miles was about to freak out off of that. Then Robin gets a call from Marcus, who apologizes for crossing the line the other day. I'm guessing that's the day that they were about to kiss or something like that. So Robin said it's okay, but she asked could she call him back later because now wasn't a good time. And he said, all right. So now we at the bar, and Robin is meeting with her client, and he's saying that his sister Jenna was getting released from prison one day, but she never came out the gate because he stood there outside waiting for her. And the prison claims that she did get released, and he was like, how? So they're trying to find out, and they went down there talking to Harry. Harry is looking through all the records and stuff, and it keeps saying that she was released, but they don't understand how. And then as Harry is looking through the records, because he's seeing a lot of suspicious stuff that should be in her file that's not showing up. And as he's looking through it, he sees something that happened with another girl named Sierra, and that there was a negligence suit that was still pending. So Robin and Mel went to meet with this young lady, Sierra's parents, and days before her release, they said they stopped hearing from their daughter. They said that they reached out to the warden, they wrote letters to Congress and hired a top lawyer, and all they got was the runaround. And then after a year of begging about their daughter, a box showed up from the Department of Corrections with Sierra's ashes. So Robin and Mel are telling Harry what happened, and he's telling them what happened when he went to see the warden and how the warden wasn't helpful at all. But he has a feeling that there are hard copies in those file cabinets in the warden's office. So now we have Marcus talking to Robin, and they're in front of the prison outside. And he's letting her know this is a state facility, not a federal one. So once those gates are closed, if anything goes wrong, it would be near impossible for him to get her out. So Robin asks Marcus to contact DA Graffin and hopes that, she can put together the pieces of what's going on. And we could tell that Marcus is definitely concerned about Robin doing this, and he's hoping that she has an exit strategy. And she tells him Mel is also going in as a CO, so she'll have a little bit of help, and says she's going to try to find the prison records. So Marcus is pretending to be a federal agent, and he brings Robin into the prison as Donna Wright. And I got to tell y'all, Latifah's look in this scene is giving me some Set It Off vibes with those two cornrows going back. Don't she remind you of that look she had in Set It Off? I'll tell you. So anyway, Robin goes into the prison being tough and asking if anybody has seen Jenna Banks. And when nobody's responding to her, she decides to unplug the TV, rip it out the wall, and then everybody's yelling at her. And she tells them, "Look, Jenna killed my cousin, and it's time to settle the bill." So while she's making this scene, she notices another inmate watching her like she wants to do something. And then we see Marcus on the phone with D.A. Grafton trying to get help for Robin, but he got nothing out of her, and he was pissed. And so now we see a scene where Mel is getting help from Harry to find her way through the maze of the prison to find the warden's office so she could go check his files. She almost get caught by another officer, but then he told her to make sure she gets to the cafeteria after she finishes what she's doing. So now over at the 37th precinct at that community meeting, we have Viola, her girlfriend, and Captain Curtis. And he's asking for a volunteer to help with a demonstration. And Vi's friend volunteers her, and she was like, "No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." She said, "Yeah, go on up there and do it." So he wants Vi to hit him, and he's going to block her or whatever as a he's gonna show her what she should do if she's being attacked. And she kept saying, "No, I don't want to hurt you." He's like, "No, come on, just hit me right here." So when he did something to her, she went poof, like gave him an uppercut and messed him up. And she felt so bad and walked back over to her seat with her head hung low, totally embarrassed by what she did. So now back over to the prison where this old white inmate, she makes eye contact with Robin, who gets up and meets her in a corner, and she provides Robin with all the info she has about Jenna in exchange for some European cigarettes. So she also told Robin that, should I say Donna or Robin? I'll just keep saying Robin, y'all. Anyway, she told her that Jenna started a fight with the wrong person, and that person is Bianca Silva. She was the inmate that was watching Robin earlier when Robin made that scene. She also told Robin that Jenna's not the first inmate to go missing, and she won't be the last. So now back over to Mel, who found the warden's office, got in there and started looking around. She opened a file cabinet, started finding the release records for some of the inmates, and then she heard keys jingling. So she tells Harry, "I hear keys jingling." She closed the file cabinet, and he calls the warden's number on his cell phone and starts talking to him, distracting him, while the warden goes into his office, and Harry's pretending he's from his credit card company and that there was some charges on his phone he wanted to check on. And Mel was able to sneak out his office while that was going on. And then when she got cleared, she let Harry know, and he just hung up on the guy. I don't know what it is, but I hate that this terrible warden is a black man. He knows what's going on in his prison, and he's allowing this to happen, and it just rubs me the wrong way. So now we're in the prison cafeteria, and Robin jumps in front of Bianca Silva on the food line, and they about to get into a fight. And Robin hit her one time, and then the next thing you know, all these other women jump in and fight while Bianca stands on the side and watches what's going down. And then one of the correction officers come over with a baton or something and hits Robin on the head real hard with it. And she falls to the floor, and the other women put their hands up like, "I'm not doing anything." So now Robin wakes up somewhere in a cell. She doesn't know where she is. She asks one of the other inmates, "Where are we?" She said, "You'll find out sooner or later." Next thing you know, they're dragging some bruised up female past her cell, all bloody and bruised up. And Robin is like, "What the heck is going on?" So then it switches back to Mel letting Harry know that she did find some of the files in the warden's office, and she says she got the names of a bunch of other women who have also gone missing, and that all of these files were signed off by somebody named Darren Rigby. And when they showed his picture, Darren Rigby is the one who hit Robin on the head, and she fell to the floor. So they are figuring that Rigby just might be working with the warden, but they don't know for sure. So they hang up, and Mel goes to find Robin, who she thinks is still in the cafeteria. But when she gets to the cafeteria, she can't find her. Meanwhile, Harry gets a call from Dante and then starts getting into his Robin's personal business, asking what's going on between them romantically. And Dante says they're friends and that's it. And he tells Harry it's not how we want it, but the distance is a challenge to them both. And he encourages Dante to live and find ways to keep a long distance relationship working for both of them through things like FaceTime and texting and even sexting. He said a little TMI. They say, yeah. But Dante did tell him that he and Robin did talk about all of this, and this is what they agreed to. So Harry said, unless it's carved in stone or engraved in a tablet, he feels it's negotiable and that they could make something work. So now we have Mel showing up to the cafeteria and she doesn't see Rob anywhere around. So he said maybe she went looking around. Why don't you make it to the surveillance room and we'll see what we could find. When she gets in the surveillance room, Mel starts talking to the guy there, makes friends with him some kind of way, tells him he could go for a smoke and she'll cover for him. So once he leaves, she gets in touch with Harry and Harry gets into the system so they could check the cameras and see what might have happened to Robin or where she could be in the prison. So now back at the 37th precinct where Vi is talking to Captain Curtis and she's feeling so bad for what he did and he said he should have, it's his fault, he should have made it clear what he expected her to do and stuff. And he was telling her not to make him laugh because I forgot what she said, something funny and it hurt him and stuff. And he said, could you do me a favor? And she said, of course, what? He said, if anybody asks you what happened, tell him I got beat up by a very vicious criminal. And she started laughing. And then Vi said something like she wanted to make it up to him. And he said, okay, how you going to do that? She said, how about breakfast? She said, I know a nice place that makes steak and eggs. And she said, you could slap one of those steaks on that bruise of yours. And they started laughing about it. So now we have Cam showing up to the house and Miles is there to meet with the boy, and Delilah is so nervous because she know how her father could get, and he's like saying all these things, trying to trick Cam into saying things that he doesn't want to say, and he's like, well, you might not be wanting to go to college right now or something like that, but Delilah's going to college and nobody's going to talk her out of it. He said, I would never think about doing that because Delilah's a very strong-willed woman. He's like, what are you trying to say about my daughter? And she's like, Delilah jumped up and said, okay, anybody want some water? I could use some water. Come on, Dad. And she told her father to come in the kitchen. And she said, Dad, I need you to chill. And he's like, as a father, I need to this, that. And she's like, look, you're not even giving him a chance. If you just give him a chance first, ask him about himself. And she said, with all due respect, he's my boyfriend, not yours. I don't really need your blessing on it. And he was like, well, he did get that strong will part right. And she said, Dad, if you really want to know about Cam, ask him what his passions are. He has a sneaker business he's building. And he said, an entrepreneur? Okay. So when Mel and Harry finally find Robin on the surveillance, they see in the cafeteria that she allowed them to hit her and get the upper hand so that they could take her to where the other prisoners are, I guess, you know. But once they see that she's gone, they don't know where she is in the prison. It's like there's an area of the prison where the cameras don't work. They see them dragging her body somewhere and then it just disappears. So while they were going through that, that guy came back who Mel was watching the surveillance cameras for. And he's like, who processed your transfer again? And he wanted to know who she was talking to. And she said, I'm talking to myself. And she told him she could call a person. He said, no, I'll call myself. And she got up on him and knocked him out with and he hit the floor and she started having like a panic attack. And you could hear her breathing. And Harry's like, Mel, are you okay? Are you okay? And she was like, okay, I'm okay. I got to get out of here. And she stepped over his body and jetted. Meanwhile, where Robin is in the prison, a guard was passing by and she started taunting him. And he came over to her and she snatched his baton and bust him upside the head some kind of way through the bars and took the key and got herself out. And when she got out, she saw another girl being dragged by some man or hit, and she jumped in and beat him up. And then two female correction officers pointed their guns at her and told her to freeze. And then they dragged her into this area and she saw Jenna and this other girl fighting, and she looked up and saw all these people watching and they betting on it, and it's like crazy. And so that guy, what's his name, Rigby or something like that, he comes over to her and said, get ready because she's next. And she saw Bianca Silva up there with money in her hand, like everybody's betting and stuff. So this guy Rigsby is working with the warden and Bianca Silva. So they end up putting Robin and Jenna in a room together. And Robin lets her know that her brother Andrew sent her to get her out. And Jenna was like, how do you know my brother's name? And you don't know what I've been through and stuff. And Robin's trying to talk to her and say, look, I know you wanted to start a gym. I know you made one mistake and got you in here. She's trying to let her know and trust her. She said, let me help you get you out. And she's like, nobody can help me. But they obviously came up with a plan because as the two of them were fighting against each other, the girl Bianca wanted it to be to the death, like one of them had to die. So Bianca put Robin in like a chokehold, and she's supposedly passed out on the ground. And then they like, get her up. And when they get her up, they both punched the guards that got them up, knocked them out, ran and beat up these two other guards, these females. And then one of them had a gun, and that's when Mel made it in there. Mel found where it was and stunned the lady, and she fell. And as they ran to the door, it was too late. The prison was on lockdown, and the door is locked. And I'm not sure if it's because they were looking for Mel, because what they did say is escaped inmate. So what inmate escaped? Unless they were talking about Robin and Jenna, who were trying to escape out of that hidden D block. So now they're all trapped, and there's a bunch of correction officers with guns pointing at them, and then there's 3 inmates. And that Bianca De Silva said, yeah, they mine now. So she decides she want to fight with Robin because she don't like Robin, and she want Robin to be dead. And so they start fighting and stuff, and Robin knocked her behind down on the ground, and knocked her out. And then the other 2 girls jumped in, and Jenna and Mel beat those 2 girls up. And then the correction officers had guns pointed at them. And the next thing you hear is federal agents, and it's Dante with these people. I don't know where Dante came from and how he got into that prison, especially when the DA wasn't helping him. But honey, he came there and saved his woman. Yes, he did. That's love, y'all. That's love. Yeah. Now back over to the McCall household, where Dr. Fulton is meeting Cam, Delilah's boyfriend. And they're talking sneaker and his business and his 5-year plan. And he just breaks it down to the point where Dr. Fulton is very impressed by Cam. And he said his daughter Delilah chose well. And Delilah said, we've kept Cam long enough. He has a dinner to get to. So Dr. Fulton shook his hand, said it was nice meeting him, and that he'll see him around. And he said, thank you, Dr. Fulton, and I promise to respect and be kind to your daughter. He said, you better. And then Delilah walked Cam to the door, and they hugged. Then she went back over to the couch and thanked her dad for giving him a chance. And he said he's a very impressive young man. And he said, you have my dad's stamp of approval. Not that it means anything. And she said, now wait, Dad. She said, honestly, it means the world to me that you approve of him. And then they hugged and told each other that they loved them. Oh, so sweet. So now we have Robin walking into the bar with Jenna, and her brother Andrew sees her, and she sees her brother, and they're hugging, and he's like, I thought I'd never see you again. And Jenna saying, I thought I was going to die in that place, and she don't know how she going to ever repay Robin. And Robin said, by giving me a membership to that gym you plan on starting. She's like, you got it. She said, but thank your brother, because if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have been there. And she said, all those officers are going to get in trouble, and she's going to take all that fight money and use it to fix up that place, Hopefield. And she's like, really? And she said, yeah, because the system is broken. And the fact that it's been going on so long is crazy. Then we see Harry and Mel talking, and he's saying, when you were in that surveillance room, did you have an episode? And she said, yeah, she was about to have a panic attack, but she put it under control and stuff. And he said, well, that's progress. She said, yeah, and she was happy about that. Then Robin came over to them and said goodbye. She said she had dinner plans, and they like, with anybody we know? And she's like, good night. And she goes out the door, and they show a scene where Marcus walking down the street. And then we see Robin step out the door, and who is she meeting? Miles. And as she's hugging Miles, Marcus comes around the corner and he sees it. And as they walk in the opposite direction, Marcus turns and walks another direction away from them. And you could tell on his face he felt some kind of way. I know he was hurting, and I felt so bad for him. And I think it was part of it, the fact that Harry kept saying, you need to go after your girl and blah, 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 and all this stuff, even though he know him and Robin had already made an agreement. He still had hope in his heart. So that's the way it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I thought it was great. And I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace and happy holidays.